Welcome to the Travel Agent Podcast. I'm your host, Aylin Blanco. I interview successful industry professionals and share my personal journey to becoming a travel agent. The show is for aspiring travel agents and travel professionals at every level. My mission is to uncover the universal keys to thrive in this business. Join me as I take a closer look into the life of a travel agent. Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Travel Agent Podcast. Today, we have another fabulous guest. She is super awesome, and I'm going to let her introduce herself.
Hey, thanks for having me on the show. My name is Chelsea Monk, and I do bookkeeping and taxes. I primarily work with digital marketers, but I also have started helping individual business owners and new bookkeepers learn how to do bookkeeping, how to do it correctly, how to keep yourself compliant, and how to keep the IRS off your back by making sure you're doing things right. So I am so excited to be here talking with you about this.
And I am so excited to have you on the show because being compliant is something that is a passion of mine for new business owners. I am trying to have so many guests come on to explain why it's important to do these certain things. So last week was PCI compliance, and now we're talking about the IRS. So how exactly do you help new or just travel businesses in general keep their taxes or their money in order?
So basically, there's certain procedures that you follow to make sure that you're doing things the right way. There's some expenses that are business deductible, and there's some that's not. And so I make sure that they understand what is a business expense and what is not, and how to keep proper track of when you report your income, what income has to be reported, business expenses you can deduct, and estimated tax payments. That's everyone's least favorite, but I help them figure that part out too.
So how exactly do you manage all of this? Is it something that you actually work with clients like one-on-one, or is there a course that you have to help people figure it out on their own?
Currently, I work with clients one-on-one. I am working to develop a course to help people figure these things out on their own. And I'm also working on a subscription-based model where if somebody wants to mostly do it on their own and just have someone with an MBA and an enrolled agent to kind of look at things or talk to them through things, they can have me basically on retainer to ask a question or to look at something.
I love it. So tell me, what are like the top 3 things as a small business owner that I should know before taxes roll around?
Oh, that's a great question. So the first one that I would say you have to know, especially as a travel agent, is keep track of when your money is received and match it to your 1099. Now, the big thing about travel agents is, let's say I call you today and I say, hey, you know what? I want to take my family to Disney in May. And we schedule it all, and you've got me booked, and you've got it totally taken care of before the end of the year. But I'm not going till May, so you don't get paid till June. So that income actually counts in June. It doesn't count for this year. So you have to make sure that whenever you get paid, that is when you count the income, not right now. So you have to keep track of what money you receive, and whenever you get a 1099 from your host agency, you make sure it matches. That is a huge thing. Make sure your 1099 matches what you received.
That is such great advice. Okay, what's number 2?
Number 2 is keep track of your business expenses, including the time you spend. So most travel agents actually work out of their home, and they have a home office, and they use their home internet, and a lot of them actually will use their personal cell phone. Keep track of the time that you spend on your phone for business versus personal. You get to deduct the business part. If you have a separate line for your business, you can fully deduct that. I personally use an app on my cell phone that costs me $10 a month. I can deduct that $10 a month straight out to my business. So make sure, if you're using your home internet, how much time do you spend researching for your clients, and how much time do you spend on Facebook? The percent of business time, that's the percent of your internet bill you can take.
I am so excited about that because I have a separate line that I didn't realize that I could deduct, and I'm always researching for my clients. So I'm feeling better and better. Okay, what's number 3?
Number 3, make sure you make your estimated tax payments and make them on time. So this one's a little more difficult to figure out, but the way that you can do it yourself is you can look at your money you got this month and your expenses this month, and you can pay 15% across the board. So there's 2 parts of this that I kind of want to clarify. Normally, these payments are due quarterly. I like to say do it monthly because if you make it a monthly habit, you're not going to forget. If you do it quarterly, you might miss the deadline. If you don't do the payment, you can be fined by the IRS on your tax return, and you will actually have to pay a penalty for not paying in your taxes throughout the year. And then I say 15% because most travel agents are a sole proprietor, and so they're going to have a self-employment tax at 15.3%. So if you pay 15% of what you're estimating to be your profit for the month, then you're basically covering what that self-employment tax is going to be. Now, that number is going to go up a little bit if you're single and you don't have a lot of bills. So you might want to consider paying a little more, but I would pay 15% to cover that self-employment tax.
I'm telling you, I'm ready to hire you now because like these are the things that, I'm very excited about my business, and I know a lot of other travel professionals are, but when we get into the taxes and the money and all of the stuff on the back end, it's a lot. So as far as the estimated tax that the 15.3, is there like a form? Is that something that you basically would help with the subscription and your one-on-one service?
Yes, if I had someone in my subscription or one-on-one service that needed help making their estimated federal tax payments, I would help them with that for sure. You can make the payment yourself at irs.gov, and there's a payment portal on there you can navigate to, and you can indicate that you're making your quarterly estimated tax payment, and you can just go through there, or I can help as well.
So is there a certain amount of money that travel agents or travel professionals need to make before they have to do all of these things? Or is it something that you should do as soon as you start your business?
You should absolutely start doing all of these things as soon as you start your business. I always say if you're going to run a business, you treat it like a business. If you don't do these, you're treating it like a hobby, and you're not going to be profitable. Like, you're doing this to make money and pay your bills and maybe be able to plan a few of your own vacations. But, if you're not keeping track of this, you're going to be surprised in April with, a $5,000 tax bill. Like, how do we pay this? So keep track of it throughout the year. Know what your profit is. Know your business expenses that you can deduct, and make your estimated tax payments so you don't have that surprise in April. You've got it handled throughout the year, and you can grow. You can watch your growth.
I love it. I love it. I love it. So, are there any other tips that you have that will be super helpful? Because really right now in the Travel Agent Building a Thriving Business Facebook group, we are talking about how we start the year off. So January 1, the things that we're doing to make sure that we are running our business like a business. So is there like one tip that you would recommend that has to do with, the finances starting January 1?
I would say to make sure that you have your own separate business checking account. Everything business goes into and out of that account. That includes if you accept service fees, it goes into that account. If you have a separate line on your phone for your business pays that. That way, you can always make sure that if you need to find your income or your expense, you know where to look for it.
That's such a great advice. I just purchased all of these different softwares from AppSumo, and luckily I used my business debit card, but normally I don't. So I'm starting to get up right. Yes.
All right.
So you had talked about service fees. With the service fees, is that something that also goes along with your 1099, or is it, kind of like a gift?
So if you accept a service fee for helping plan someone's travel, that is income to you. That is not a gift. You can talk to the person and they can say, hey, you were really helpful. Let me give you, $50 for helping me plan this amazing Disney vacation. You saved me so much money for dinner with Mickey, and that's income. That's a tip because you did provide a service. So even though it's not going to be on your 1099, it's still income to you.
I knew that, but I was just hoping.
Hey, you can always ask.
So thank you so much for all of this awesome information. Where can the audience find you so that they can see if hiring you would be beneficial to their business?
So I am on Facebook. You can find my personal profile, Chelsea Monk EA. You can find my business page. It's Monk Books and Tax LLC, or you can join my free Facebook group where I talk about bookkeeping tips and tricks and answer bookkeeping questions. It's facebook.com/groups/learn bookkeeping. And I answer questions in there that people have about specific software that they're struggling with or just general bookkeeping questions. And when I develop my course, it's going to be announced in this group first. So if you want in on it, you need to be in this group to find it.
Awesome. So quick question. You talked about software. Is there a particular software that you believe is really, really helpful to small business owners as far as keeping their books?
I would say any software that uses double entry accounting. And the reason for that is there's two sides to every transaction. If you spend money, it came from somewhere and it goes to somewhere. And that's what double entry accounting shows. So I would say, depending on how big time your business is, I mean, a lot of the QuickBooks online, they're not super, super cheap, but they are double entry accounting and they will do the job. I wouldn't do QuickBooks Self-Employed because there's just not enough meat on those bones to really do a good job with accounting. There's also a software called Xero, Xero. It's pretty inexpensive and it will basically help you keep track of your business income and expenses. And absolute bare minimum, just, keep track of it in a ledger if you need to, paper ledger, bare minimum, but just keep track of it somehow. I will always recommend a software because it'll help you calculate things faster, but just as long as you're doing it, just do it somehow.
I love it. It doesn't matter how, just do it.
Exactly. Just do it. Nike, just do it.
Right. Well, thank you so, so much for coming on the show today. These topics are so important. And I'm telling you, I preach the same thing. Run your business like a business. And in order to do that, these are the things that you have to do. It's not the fun, sexy part, but it is important. And the IRS does not play.
They do not. They will shut you down if you don't do it right. So you've got to do it right out of the gate.
Awesome. Well, thank you so, so much. Thank you for joining the Travel Agent Podcast. Don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review. Visit thetravelagentpodcast.com for more information about today's episode and other travel agent resources. Be sure to tune in every Thursday for new episodes. Until next time, continue to build a travel business you love.